to the Reese's 200. It's race number 11 for the ARCA Menards series. And what a gorgeous night it is. I'm Jamie Little, joined by Phil Parsons, and tonight, our special guest, Mr. Michael Waltrip. And Mikey, you know how to get around this place. You actually know how to win at this place. But what is it about IRP that is so entertaining no matter what we race here?
Did you see those highlights? They're going to bounce all over each other tonight. What an iconic speedway it is. One of the most famous short tracks in all of America here at Indianapolis Raceway Park. Let's look at our track map. You can see just under 3/4 of a mile. This track is tough. And why it's so tough, Phil, is when you come off the corners, you can diamond. You can go really low, and you can run right out next to the wall. And, Jamie, that means side by side. That means pushing and shoving. This racetrack is going to bring us all the action we want to see tonight. I can guarantee you that.
And I can guarantee you there isn't a driver in the field not excited about short track racing. And, Phil, one of the top stories we have been following all season, top of the board, the points battle. Only 9 points separate the top three.
Yeah, those three guys at Daytona, we said these are the three that are going to race for the championship. And they're going to be really good tonight as well. I think we'll leave here again with them within 10 points. But there's a couple other guys that are going to be really good, too. One of those is a guy that's won here the last two times we raced here, and that's Chandler Smith. Here he is out-dueling his teammate at the time, Christian Eckes, to get that win back in 2019, a little bit rain-shortened, and then he comes back the next year racing Ty Gibbs and gets win number 2 back-to-back for Chandler Smith in 2019, 2020. He would like to do it again tonight. And also, how about the hottest guy we had in the ARCA Menards series, and that's Taylor Gray right there, the 17 car. He won at Mid-Ohio on the road course. He won at Pocono last week on the 2.5-mile oval. Nothing would please him more than to go 3 for 3 here at Indianapolis.
You see all those highlights, you know the common denominator, they're all either youngsters, like as in teenagers. Taylor Gray is only 17 years old. But the truth of the matter is not all the drivers in the field are youngsters. There's actually a 30-year-old making his ARCA Series debut, and he caught up with our Josh Sims moments ago.
Yeah, Jamie, in a debut that's a long time in the making. As you get set for this, what emotions are you feeling right now?
I'm just excited. I'm happy to be here. IRP is one of my favorite racetracks, and you know the fans always come out. My dad's here. We got so many people back home watching this. I told him one day we'd be able to turn the TV on and see me race, and today's the day.
How did all of this come about? Because it took a lot of help from some good friends of yours.
Yeah, it really did. AJ Allmendinger, if you look at the car, it's actually a rendition of his first Champ Car win in Portland about 16 years ago. So AJ started this whole thing, and Team Dillon management, Austin Craven, they helped me get with Tyler Young, and those guys have a great car. We got Mark Mamba the Mayor on the hood. The Elliott's Custom Carts and Motor Coaches is on the quarter, and they're here based in Indiana. And the Tony Elliott Foundation, Tony was a icon in USAC racing, and to be able to represent him on this car is awesome. And I'm just happy to be here. We got Maestro's too. That's why the beard looks so good. Josh, I'm gonna have to get you some Maestro's beard butter too, you know. But we're happy to be doing it.
I like that you got some grays in your beard just like me.
Hey,
good luck tonight.
See these kids? I'm old now, so.
Good luck tonight, Mama. Jamie?
And you see the personality there. You see Lisa Dyer on the side right there. That was the mother of a few friends of his from back home in Vermont. They went to school together. Lisa lost her battle with cancer just a couple of weeks ago. So he is racing, thinking of her tonight and thinking of his friends back home in Vermont. So looking forward to seeing what Mamba Smith can do tonight. Well, it's time to go trackside to fire him up.
And now for the most famous words in motorsports, Senior Manager, Specialty Channels for the Hershey Company, Brad Schwalm.
Race fans, are you ready? Drivers, start your engines.
Love to hear those engines fired. Well, you know, race car drivers, they're motivated individuals, right? So we wanted to know what drives them. Here's the General Tire driver profile.
I live to race because everything that I do is about racing.
If it wasn't for racing, I'd be a normal college kid right now. So my life looks a lot different because of racing, and that's what we live for.
I've literally been at the racetrack since I've been in my mother's belly. I've worked really hard to get to this level of racing because it's my dream and it's all that I've wanted to do.
Every day is centered around racing for me. You know, I wake up, I go to the Toyota Performance Center and work out. I go to sim twice a week, do everything I possibly can to just, keep myself physically sound and research everything I can going into a race.
I'm a really big person as far as working out and fitness goes. Obviously that translates to racing, so I think everything ties back to racing.
I would say my entire life revolves around racing, and it's kind of hard to find that little break to kind of find time for myself and to spend time with friends and kind of like talk to my family. So I definitely think balance is important.
I'd race a wheelbarrow if they let me. I race anything I can get my hands on. If I can race it, I probably have.
It's definitely it's a lifestyle. I wake up thinking about racing, go to sleep thinking about racing, and everything I do throughout the day, I try to make myself better on and off the track.
Okay, so everything that drives them, motivates them, it's all about racing. Phil, Michael, what drives you guys?
Well, I think probably for me, just much like it was for Michael, my brother Benny started racing when I was 5 years old. So all I've ever known was going to the racetrack, and it's all I ever wanted to do.
I was the same way. I worked at Pepsi for my dad so I could have enough gas money to drive to North Carolina and race back in the early 80s. And the passion just lives, and you could see it, you could hear it, you could feel it from those young racers saying, this is what it's all about. And to be able to live this dream for some 30 years, it's been really special. And I'm looking forward to seeing these guys and girls around for a long time.
Well, you race car drivers are a different breed. All you do is think about racing, but we appreciate it. It's definitely great for entertainment value for sure. Well, you see the 18 right there. Earlier today, just a couple of hours ago, we had qualifying. Finally, they got to turn the fastest lap. It wasn't just the fastest from practice. They actually got to go out on track and turn it up a notch in the 18. Doing what he does so well this year for the 4th time. Sammy Smith is your General Tire Pole Award winner. So you see him on the inside there and Jesse Love on the outside. And you'll see our General Tire starting grid there in the pylon. Let's go to the pits one last time. Check in with Josh Sims.
Yeah, and for the first time this season in the ARCA Menards series, Sammy Smith is coming off a race where he didn't finish in the top 5. And it was a very frustrating race for him last week at Pocono. Cut a tire late in the race, got into Jesse Love in the race, and then got into it with Jesse Love's crew chief. Well, he said they spoke this week, they ironed things out, and now he's working on handling himself better when he gets into frustrating situations. Sammy says he's just got to get better at holding those emotions in check. Well, he's back at a place on a short track, and short tracks is where he's made his bread and butter this season. 2 wins on a short track and looking to make it 3, Jamie.
And an incredible season so far. It's been in 7 races, 2 wins. That makes him our Bounty Rookie Spotlight tonight. So we'll be talking a lot about him and Phil. I mean, what a season it's been for this young driver.
Yeah, I'm so impressed. Obviously, with the 2 short track wins, but look at the laps led. 385 laps led in the 6 races. What a great season. Again, he wasn't 18 years old to start the season, so he hasn't been able to run all the races, but we'll see him the rest of the year.
Yeah, and that's refreshing. 17-year-old couldn't run all the races, but when he did get a chance to run, he put that car in victory lane, and he's one of the favorites tonight. I don't see how you can bet against Sammy Smith with that starting position and the experience that young man has.
He definitely likes some short track racing, and you see the view right there, the Sioux Chief onboard camera. We'll have 4 cameras for you tonight. Sammy Smith first up.
Yeah, we're also going to ride along with Greg Van Alst. This is the Reese's onboard. This is the CB Fabricating Ford, and Greg's going to start back from the 13th spot.
Let's fly on with Daniel Dye. He's got the Daytona Beach International Airport onboard camera. It's going to be a great view. Watch him work that wheel here at Indianapolis Raceway Park. These corners are tight. There's going to be a lot of action.
Guys, let's go back to the front row. Jesse Love, the General Tire onboard. This is the Crescent 2 Toyota, and he will start from the 2nd spot.
So we'll be following along with them, and a lot of talk about our points, and for good reason. Look how tight it is. Just 9 points separate first through 3rd.
Big change from last week. They were 8 points apart, so huge gain by Raja, gaining a point over Daniel Dye.
But that doesn't tell the whole story. I mean, what happened at Pocono? We're looking at, things were all over the place, and at the end of the day,
there they are.
They're still only 9 points apart. Nick Sanchez there in second. He has 2 wins on the season. Raja Karut, though, has just been so consistent. No wins yet, but continues to lead those points.
Let's take a look at our race analysis. You see this race is 200 laps, 137 miles. We're going to have competition cautions on or around lap number 75 and 125. These teams will have 6 tires in the pits, not 8. So one of those pit stops, they can only put 2 tires on.
How good did that feel? Phil, seeing the 1 to go flag go up in the air. That's, Friday night short track racing, 1 to go. These drivers, they're young, they're aggressive, and they're really excited for this opportunity. Live on FS1, going racing an IRP. I can't think of a better 6 letters to describe what fun this is going to be.
Look how low that backstretch wall is, Michael.
Look at that corn back there. It's just taunting those drivers.
It's beautiful. 18 is Sammy Smith on the outside, Jesse Love on the inside. These two had a little run-in, little frustration last week, and now they're starting side by side. They're about rubbing already, and we haven't even dropped the green flag. Sammy Smith, pole sitter for the 4th time this season. Green flag is in the air. We're racing at Indianapolis.
Sammy Smith really held them down coming to the green flag. Got a late launch. It worked. He was able to propel himself to the lead. But, man, it was scrambling back in the back as guys were locking up their brakes to keep from running, trying to anticipate the start and trying to keep from running into one another.
I think we had some guys that did run into each other. But right now, these tires are as good as they're going to be. The air pressure's down. It's as much grip as they're going to have. If you're going to make the inside work, you're going to have to do it right now.
See Chandler Smith jumping to the outside. Charge to the front is what he's thinking in his Toyota. Jesse Love. Let's listen to him work that gas. I love this. Shows you how technical this racetrack is. Listen to this. Ooh, good strong run there low off too. You saw how low he got, Phil.
And you see how long he has to wait to get back to that throttle. Good shot here, Tom Hessert. He's not one of those young guys. He's only 36 years old. A lot of experience. 6 former races here at IRP for Tom Hessert.
Hessert, one of those Venturini cars. See a replay here on the start. You said there may be some contact right before the drop of the green flag, and you see it right there.
A little bit of an aborted start, and you saw the 42 right there of Christian Rose get run into from behind.
Rose was really disappointed with his Pocono run, had a mechanical issue, and was looking so much forward to tonight, and it almost ended before it all got started.
Great battle for second right here. Taylor Gray, who's just been on fire, won the last 2 straight races here in the series, but he's getting a lot of pressure from the 15 of Chandler Smith, who, by the way, has won the last 2 ARCA Menards races here.
Yeah, Chandler Smith sees Sammy Smith driving away. He said, "Okay, I'm not gonna have that. I've got to go chase down Sammy Smith." So he's trying to figure out a way around Taylor Gray.
Taylor's doing a nice job running the preferred line, but Chandler's a little bit quicker right now, so if he can get his nose up under the 17. We saw him be aggressive in those replays, bouncing off teammate Ty Gibbs to win here at 20. He won't be shy about using those fenders to get around Taylor Gray.
Chandler Smith, one of our drivers, doing double duty, as well as the man he's chasing in the 17 of Taylor Gray. But Chandler's in the playoffs, Michael. You guys are both with that call tonight, coming up right after our race. It's the Truck Series. Is he just trying to get some extra laps here to help him out for the opening round of the playoffs?
I think that's exactly what he's doing, but you said it, Jamie. 2 wins here. He wants to win a race, and this just gets you warmed up. He's going to make some moves tonight. He's going to see how low he can go, how the groove develops. Does it get right out next to the wall? They're running lower than I thought I'd see, Phil.
I agree. I think eventually these cars will be right up above that last dotted line there.
Well, it's been all Sammy Smith so far, working lap number 8. Taylor Gray, Chandler Smith trying to get him. We'll be back to IRP after this. ARCA Racing on FS1 is brought to you by Bounty, the quicker picker-upper. By Menards, save big money at Menards. And by Suchi, America's manufacturer of plumbing, drainage, supply, and support products. And we welcome you back to Indianapolis Raceway Park. We talked about what a beautiful night it is, about 80 degrees. And it's been all about that man in the 18, Sammy Smith. But we did have a little shakeup behind him, a tough battle between the 17 and the 15. Let's take a look back at how Chandler Smith got around Taylor Gray.
We saw Chandler trying to heat up Taylor Gray. He got beside him a couple times before. Nice run there off the corner with the left sides below the yellow line. Like you were talking about, Michael, he's going to be able to prevail in this pass even as he goes around the lap car of Martin.
You know, you said, Jamie, it's all about Sammy Smith so far. It's getting ready to be all about Chandler Smith if these lap times hold up. Last time by, once he cleared Taylor Gray, 0.2 of a second better than our leader, Sammy Smith. So I'm sure his team, Sammy's team's on the radio saying, there's a guy coming from behind. If you got anything else, we better try to find it right now.
Same thing that lap, too. Another 0.2 clipped off. Now down to within 2 seconds. There was your leader, and here's your second place car of Chandler Smith.
And Phil, how great of a feeling is it as a race car driver when you drive around third place and you get to second and you see the leader up there, and every lap he just gets bigger and bigger out your windshield. I'm coming, buddy.
And that third place guy gets smaller and smaller out of your back glass.
It's been fun to watch as you see the two Toyotas running first and second, but Sammy Smith for Kyle Busch Motorsports and Chandler Smith for Venturini, and there's a nice battle. They like to beat each other, Phil.
Yes, they do. And again, you know they're all part of the Toyota program, so they spend a lot of time around each other at TRD, but I think sometimes you have teammates that there's nobody you would rather beat than your teammate because you want to be best in class in your own organization.
The Daytona Beach International Airport onboard camera we talked about for Jesse Love. He's chasing down Daniel Dye is Jesse Love just ahead there in the 20 car. He's been faster as well than Love lately, so Daniel Dye's doing a nice job in that 43.
Daniel Dye, we expect big things out of him going short track racing. He had a really good outing at Berlin earlier in the season as he works his way trying to get around that 20 of Jesse Love, who, by the way, started on the front row and has slipped back a couple of spots.
Yeah, that's a bit surprising. Thought he would be stronger than that. I always smile, Phil, when I see a 43 car in NASCAR. I always think of the king. Me and Phil play golf a lot, and whatever golf carts we get, Jamie, we always say, who you got? And if it's 43, it's obviously Richard Petty. And if it's...
We go back in time sometimes to get it.
Yeah, we get way back.
I bet you two do. And you mentioned it. It's Petty GMS right here. He has a little bit of that Petty blue.
Yes.
That car looks so good.
See his results there. 5th at Elko, 8th at Mid-Ohio, another top 5 at Pocono. Just steadily knocking on the door of getting a victory here before long.
We had Ryan crew chief on this team, obviously a former championship crew chief with Chase Briscoe back in 2016. He thinks he's got a good one here. He said Daniel Dye has the talent to get it done. And again, as Jamie talked about, he's up there in the top 3 in points, within 10 points here halfway through the season.
I met Daniel Dye one day at Talladega. It was pre-race. The ARCA race was getting ready to roll. And we walked past each other on pit road. And he said, "Do you know where the bathroom is, sir?" And I said, "That's a race car driver right there. You got to hit the bathroom before you get in those race cars." And I don't even think he knew who I was, and I pointed in the right direction.
Did you think he was a young Boris Said with his hair?
What a great head of hair. You mentioned it.
We had a close call for our leader, but that brings out our first caution of the day.
See some lap cars here right in front of our leader. Sammy's going to try to go between them.
Ooh. Man, maybe Chick in that 74 there on the outside. Not a lot of room for our leader to squeeze through.
Did you call that threading the needle?
It was. He knows Chandler Smith is coming. He needed to get gone.
And caution out for the first time in the Reese's 200. Debris on the racetrack. We'll step aside. You won't miss anything. It's the Reese's 200. And we welcome you back to Indianapolis Raceway Park, where we are under caution for the first time this evening. And this is why. A little piece of debris. Doesn't look like much, but you see him pick it up. Pretty substantial.
Yeah, I think it's in a grill on a tire. I mean, it could cause a lot of damage. So the AMR safety crew out there on the call. And Josh, Chandler Smith's lead. Chandler Smith is chasing down Sammy Smith. What are they thinking in the pit?
Yeah, Sammy Smith has led all the laps so far, but he said he's too free, center exit, and he wants to know how much Chandler Smith is gaining on him. Well, Chandler Smith wants to know the same thing. How much is he gaining on Sammy Smith? And the team is telling him he's 2/10 better. Just keep on pushing it. Well, Chandler said, I just need a little more drive off if I'm going to catch him, guys.
I like it. Short track racing. The handling isn't perfect. It's hot and slick out there.
Them Smith boys, though, man, they're dominating this race.
You see the 42 there. That's Christian Rose, last driver on the lead lap. And he was a Division I pitcher, and on Monday, pretty cool. He got to throw out the first pitch at the Reds game in Cincinnati. I mean, he just looks the part.
He looks like a baseball player.
He always wanted to race. Never raced until he was 23 years old and he was finished with college. So Visit West Virginia has helped sponsor him along the way. Living out his dream here in the ARCA Menards Series.
Wild, wonderful West Virginia. That's a beautiful car, isn't it? You can see the mountainside there.
He got involved in that initial start, a little skirmish. You see a little body damage to the rear of that car.
1 to go. The 95 at Dylan Fetcha was the free pass. Dylan Fetcha, the 2020 Nashville Fairgrounds Pro Late Model Champion.
Yeah, he's from just outside of Nashville in Lebanon, Tennessee. So got a break early. He was a part of that scrum there when the leader, Sammy Smith, caught some lap traffic, Andy Chick there, and was able to hang one lap down behind our leader Smith and got that free pass.
Well, this is a Sioux Chief Showdown race. It's pretty cool. It's like a championship within a championship for the drivers who run the East Series, the West Series, and the National Series.
And also, this is all these races. There's 10 races. They're made up on racetracks that the teenagers can race. You don't have to be 18 to run any of those racetracks. And as you can see, Sammy Smith with an 18-point lead over Taylor Gray. Jesse Love close behind also with 19 points. But a great little championship within this championship that all the young drivers are eligible for to run all the races.
Now, we saw Chandler Smith grab that second position on the bottom of the racetrack. Sammy picked the outside. Be interesting to see how Chandler hangs with him here down on the bottom. I think the preferred line on the restarts is going to be outside all night long. You can just get a good sweep into the corner. But that 15 car has been faster so far. Let's see how he plays this restart.
Battle of the Smiths, Sammy Smith. It's been all about the 18 cars so far. Green flag in the air once again. Sammy Smith, Chandler Smith on the inside.
Oh, tries to squeeze up, but Smith does a nice job. Sammy does on the outside, keeping the lead.
The battle for third round. Jesse Love now on the outside of the 17 of Taylor Gray.
And looking out on the bottom, Daniel Dye making some progress down there. Can he make that spot work?
Jesse Love, for the second straight time, loses a spot on the start. 17, Taylor Gray was so good with his restarts last week at Pocono. Doing that once again here as Taylor Gray, the 17, moves into third. Jesse Love in fourth, and Daniel Dye in the 43 round out the top 5.
There's a good shot of the 55 of Tom Hessert racing inside of our point leader, Rajah Caruth, in the 6. His teammate right in front of him, the 2 of Nick Sanchez.
I think he's seeing double. Looks out the front window, looks at the back, they both look alike.
Exactly alike. Another shot, 23 of Connor Mosek. What a great ARCA start he's had to his career. Did a really nice job in the Gibbs Toyota at Portland in his Xfinity debut as well.
You talk about those paint schemes, the yellow and black, brand new sponsorship announcement yesterday for Sanchez and Caruth with Gainbridge coming on board. That's an Indiana company. Max Siegel Incorporated, who owns Rev Racing, based out of Indianapolis. So a lot of synergy there for this team.
And those are beautiful race cars,
they
too.
Really are.
And I'm impressed with this ARCA field from first to last, Phil. They just bring such quality race cars, and it's good to see these kids get a chance to go out and race each other in quality equipment on a track like IRP. This is a big night.
Yeah, so much history, too, in this series, too. This series was formed back in 1953. And look, you just look down the list of the people that these guys that we got a great battle for the lead here as Chandler Smith tries to get to the inside of Sammy Smith. But my brother Benny certainly was a 2-time ARCA champion before he was able to move to the Cup Series, and fortunately was able to win the championship in 1973.
Chandler Smith trying to force the 18 of Sammy Smith into a mistake, and right there he ducks to the inside. The 20-year-old can't make it stick. Outside prevails.
He's faster, obviously. It's just going to be a matter of a time. You saw him just work over to grab that second spot, and now he's heating up Smith for the lead. Got a lot of lap traffic, though, Jamie. Guys that they're going to have to figure out a way to work their way around and keep the momentum up. That's what this racetrack's all about on the exit, is good momentum. And sometimes you catch a lap car in the wrong spot, it hurts that momentum.
And I think Sammy just needs to be patient here. Just run that top group. That is the fastest way around. If Chandler Smith is able to get by him, he knows in about 30 laps, we're going to have an opportunity to put at least a couple tires on. And that's what most of the crew chiefs told me, is they will put their 2 tires on lap 75 competition caution and save the 4 fresh tires for the lap 125 caution.
I like that plan. I mean, I like the plan, but also like the rules that ARCA has. You can have 6 tires. You're not getting 8. That makes the teams have to make some decisions.
And things happen quick. You guys talked about the short track. It's a .686 miles, so just over a half mile. And what a battle. I mean, this is what you expect when you come to a track like this, IRP in particular. And more side-by-side, Mama Smith in the 0-2, been top 10 all day. ARCA Series debut at 30 years old, guys. He's doing a heck of a job.
He really is trying to get by that 35 of Greg Van Alst. This is a battle for the 10th spot.
I texted Mama earlier today and I said, "You having any fun?" He said, "Oh me, Mike, this is the best ever." And I'm so, he's so infectious and so energetic. And then you couple that with making his ARCA debut. This is a big day for that young man.
Greg Van Alst in the 35 from Anderson, Indiana, not too far from this racetrack. Kind of a home game, you could say, for him. Father of 4, I imagine his family and friends are all out watching. He's one of our full-time drivers in the ARCA Menards series.
Take a look at the Reese's on board of Greg Van Alst. See nothing in his windshield. He's got a mirror full of Mamba behind him. Greg Van Alst, he was a race car driver when he was younger, Michael, and then he said, "Hey, if I'm going to drive a race car, I'm going to have to figure out how to pay for it." So he went to work, formed a company, and then when he got in a position to go racing again, he did it with great equipment.
Created a fence company. Does that just so he can go racing, right? Do what you got to do. Sammy Smith leads Chandler Smith. ARCA Racing on FS1 is brought to you by Richmond Water Heaters, the water heater experts, available at Menards. And by General Tire, #GT delivers. And welcome back to the Reese's 200. Really nice crowd out there. Indianapolis Raceway Park, as we're under caution for the second time this evening. And we just talked about the 42 of Christian Rose. Got a beat up fender. This is what happened to him.
Racing tight there. But Reininger, and she got into him, and around he went. We saw before we went to break, she was faster than him, trying to figure out a way around. And there's one way to get the move made.
Yeah, there's the contact, unfortunately. Around goes Christian Rose. But look how heavy. Right behind them, that was the leaders and some heavy traffic. Yeah, this is the heavy traffic we were talking about. There's Sammy Smith, the 18 on the inside. They're going to become 4 wide here in a minute. There's Chandler Smith as he catches Sammy Smith. And watch them, they go 4 wide. And you can hear in the background Christian Rose spinning off of turn number 4 as the caution is out now.
And there he sits. Watch what it feels like to get. Look at all this tight traffic. Trying to work the way through it.
Coming down the backstretch, going in turn 3. 3 wide wasn't enough. We're going to make it 4 wide.
And then spinning to the bottom there, you saw the Rose number 42 car, go spinning to the bottom.
Christian Rose was 12th at the moment of his spin, so he'll bring it down pit road. Try to fix some of that damage. He had damage on the bumper from earlier contact.
The initial start of the race, a couple cars got together.
Yeah, we talk about how much fun it is and how entertaining. I believe, MW, you want to race here? It's been a minute.
Wow, 1989. I didn't have much budget for a helmet there. Things have changed quite dramatically there. Got a little bump early and spun around, but then when it mattered at the end, my crew made a great decision on some strategy, made some adjustments there, got tires, drove around. Dale Earnhardt in the 3. That's Steve Grissom.
Steve Grissom in the Texas Speed car.
And held off a very determined Mark Martin to go to victory lane. Great memories from the 80s there at IRP. Back then, I thought that was one of the biggest short track races in America. You know, you come to IRP on a Saturday night, a lot of fun, and it's really cool to go to Victory Lane.
And you got to remember, that was before the Brickyard, too.
Yes.
So that was the only NASCAR racing at that time in Indianapolis.
And IRP is just about a 12-minute drive from the big track at IMS. Racing has Indy surrounded this weekend. So much action. There's downtown Indianapolis. Just a gorgeous day today, about 80 degrees. And it's been a who's won at this racetrack. Here's a few of them. We mentioned Chandler Smith, who's been wearing out the bumper of the 18. He's won the last two here.
Yeah, Christian Eckes that we will see later on tonight in the Truck Series race. He won here back in 2018. Our champion, Chase Briscoe from 2016, won here in his championship year.
You can't talk about ARCA without saying Frank Kimmel, right?
10-time champion. 10 times.
I'm so happy his name is on this IRP list because he is the man in ARCA, or has been the man in ARCA for many years.
Let's get a quick update from Josh.
Yeah, let's talk about the Rev Racing guys, starting with Nick Sanchez. He says he needs more grip on entry. He has to wait on it too long to come in. And then for the 6 of Rajah Karuf, he needs a little more drive off. He's saying he also has no right rear grip. So the guy's battling, but still in the top 10.
And thank you, Josh. Yeah, this team, they were really hoping to fix their short track program. Just felt like they weren't where they needed to be earlier in the season.
About 15 laps to go till we get to that first competition caution.
Yeah, it's really interesting to see these tires wearing and what these crew chiefs will do for strategy.
These laps are flying by. Sammy Smith has led them all so far, 58 laps. Green flag is in the air once again.
Chandler Smith sends it down into turn number 1. Is he going to be able to clear him? Not quite.
He thought he had it, didn't he, Phil?
He did. He said, that's as hard as I could drive in there. If that's not going to clear him, I don't know what will.
Is he going to use the right front fender?
He's going to stay right there with him, right on his inside quarter panel.
What a race up front. These guys are relentless, door to door. But Sammy Smith, the 18-year-old, holding off the 20-year-old. And he gets him.
Chandler has to be careful when he drives it on the inside. It's flatter down there. Seeing a penalty coming up right now for the 23 at Connor Mosack.
Changing lanes before the start-finish line.
Man, that's a tough break. He was solidly in the top 10.
And you got to lose at least 2 laps here coming down pit road.
Looks like Taylor Gray's able to keep track of our leaders here. The Smiths had driven off by some 2 or 3 seconds from the third place running Gray, but he's able to track them down. And that's why I think it's interesting with these tires. How will they fall off, and how will your car like just 2 tires? You know, that balance could change the handling.
You mentioned the Smiths. There's 4 Smiths racing here tonight. So I did the math, Michael, and I believe it's a 17% chance we're going to get a Smith in Victory Lane.
We've got 2 really good ones, though, running 1-2 right now. So I think that increases our odds in our favor a little bit.
Taylor Gray maintains that 3rd spot. Jesse Love in 4th, and Daniel Dye in 5th. They haven't been able to really make much movement.
You know, we talked a lot earlier about all the moves that Chandler Smith was making down on the bottom and how he was faster than our leader, Sammy Smith. Well, that's changed quite a bit now. Maybe Chandler used up those tires a little bit, making all those moves, because he's not able to keep pace with our leader, Sammy, at the moment.
But Daniel Dye, though, was all over the 20 of Jesse Love. Moves to the inside, trying to make that move. You see, he had to wait on the throttle because he's down on the flatter part of the racetrack.
Nick Sanchez back there in 6th. He was another one saying he's just having to wait on it too much. Once some adjustments made when they come in here on or around lap 75 for the first of 2 scheduled breaks. Nice battle right here for 4th.
Nick Sanchez driving up to the back of these guys. Looks like maybe he saved a little bit of something. A lot more speed now than he had earlier. He ran the 3rd fastest time last time by, so he's better than some of the guys ahead of him.
Nick Sanchez in the 2, a 2-time winner this season. It's been good, but his teammates just been a little bit more consistent, but he's closed that gap to just 3 points coming into tonight's race.
Yeah, you're talking about a 1/3 of a point over 10 races, each race over 10 races. So essentially, other than the 2 wins by Nick, their seasons are very much the same.
Nick Sanchez trying to size up the 43, trying to find a way around Daniel Dye.
You know, and there's also a little bit of thought that would go into the weather changing. You know, the sun's going to go down more and more. The track could gain some grip. So I talked about the strategy on the 2 tires or 4 tires. You also have to have the crew chief with his thinking cap on. How are we going to play this weather and how is it going to affect our car?
Yeah, and that's where the experience comes in for the people like Mark McFarland, crew chief for Sammy Smith, who's been here before, and he knows how this racetrack changes. I was talking to him earlier today, and he said, man, we're starting so early in the day, though. This is the first time, obviously, that they've been coupled with the truck series who's going to run after us. So normally their race runs a little bit later. So he said he really didn't know exactly what was going to happen because our race started so early.
You know, you talked about McFarland. He raced here in the Xfinity Series back in 06. And actually, it was his last start. So when he tells his driver what to do or what he's thinking, you better pay attention. He's got a pretty good grasp on what's going on.
Talking about the crew chief of the 18 for Sammy Smith. Sammy has now crossed 450 laps led in his ARCA career in just 10 starts.
That's amazing. What a year this year. He's led over 400 of those laps this year, right?
And he's holding off Chandler Smith. Chandler Smith's numbers in the ARCA Menards series is very Kyle Busch-esque. Very good, so solid, and we talked about it. He races in the truck series full time. 4 wins to his credit, 2 this year already. So Sammy Smith doing a heck of a job holding him off.
Yeah, 9-time winner here in the ARCA series without all that many starts.
I tell you, someone that's at home smiling right now, ODW, he sure does like to put flames on the side of the race car.
Yeah, 34 career starts for Chandler Smith, 9 wins.
Working lap 72 here, 128 laps to go. Battle for 4th, 43, Daniel Dye closing up on Jesse Love.
I think Daniel Dye would love to get by Jesse Love to get up to the 4th spot so he knows he can restart in the outside line.
You know, I'm really tempted. As a race car driver, I used to love running the high line. If I'm one of these guys, I'm really tempted just to swing it a little bit higher than the guy I'm racing, like you see Daniel Dye here trying to get up, and then that gives you a better angle on exit. And there's grip up there. We know that. It'd be interesting to see if somebody can take advantage of it.
Yeah, back in the day, Michael, we would run all 4 tires up above that last dotted white line there, right up against the wall.
Daniel Dye took a look at it. Didn't quite work. Jesse Love able to hold him off. And our first of 2 scheduled breaks should be coming any minute now. But modified live stops following that. But this battle continues to rage on. Nick Sanchez in the mix there. Seems like his car may have gotten a little bit better. And there it is. Caution for the 3rd time. We will have modified live pit stops coming up on the back end of this break. Don't go anywhere. And we welcome you back to Indianapolis. It is the Reese's 200. We're under caution. This is the first of 2 scheduled breaks. It's time already to take a look at our Richmond water heaters mid-race report. Just like that, Phil, we're at the halfway point.
Yeah, as you can see, Sammy Smith has led all 78 laps, which we've had 12 cars left on the lead lap. We've had 3 cautions so far.
And it's time for pit stops. They'll have 5 minutes to make those changes, get that fuel and the tires. Let's go to Josh.
And let's start with the 17 of Taylor Gray. He's been complaining about having no front grip. Also just came over the radio, said it's tight early and it shoves the right front when he gets into the gas. Moving on to the 15 of Chandler Smith, who's been battling to try and get the lead from Sammy Smith, but he said his biggest issue is on the turns. He's getting beat there. He says it's just too tight for him to be able to catch. They've been experimenting with different lines to see if he can gain any ground on Sammy. And then the 18 of Sammy Smith, it says it feels a tick too tight on exit. Still a little bit free on entry to middle, but he said he doesn't want any major adjustments because he doesn't want to overstep what they have, which is a really good car right now, guys.
All right, we'll see who made the right adjustments and who made the wrong adjustments. 122 laps to go here at Indianapolis Raceway Park. Coming up next next on FS1, it's the playoffs for the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series right here at Indianapolis Raceway Park. See who will grab the first win of the playoffs. It's all next here on FS1. Can't believe it's that time already, playoff time, and you see the leaderboard. Zane Smith, a regular series champion, but he didn't have the greatest of days in qualifying, Michael.
Surprised me. Qualified back in the 23rd position, and we've seen tonight with these ARCA Menards car how hard it is to pass. Ty Majeski, you see he's 7th there. He's my pick to win tonight. Really accomplished short track racer, fast truck. I think he's going to be hard to beat. John Hunter Nemechek, Yahoo is on the pole.
Yeah, KBM, 3 of the top 4 spots qualifying.
And that's all coming up right after us. If you're a race fan, what a night, what a racetrack. It's been a lot of fun so far. Well, you guys have both talked about the history of the ARCA Menards Series race. Let's take a look back at some of that history here at IRP.
Today is the 17th ARCA Menards Series race at Lucas Oil Indianapolis Raceway Park, dating back to 1971. Two-time series champion Ramo Stott won the inaugural event, leading every lap. However, after Bob Shack's 1985 victory, the series did not return to the track until 2011.
After 25 years, the ARCA Racing Series makes it back to Lucas Oil Raceway, and Ty Dillon will go to victory lane.
Ty Dillon outlasted Ryan Blaney on his way to his 2011 victory. It was one of 7 wins that season that catapulted him to his championship. 5 years later, Chase Briscoe won at IRP on his way to the 2016 ARCA Menards Series Championship.
The Hoosier himself, Chase Briscoe, how cool that must have been for him to win at his home track and then, of course, go on to win the championship.
Nothing better than a home game, is there, Phil?
Right.
Great crowd, a lot of kids on hand. Pit stops continue. Of course, you know, they get 5 minutes to make those changes here. No competitive advantage on pit road. We talked about Mamba Smith making his ARCA debut, doing a nice job keeping it in the top 10 all night long. And last night there was a big go-karting event. A lot of the drivers went over there. It was for a great cause. They raised money for the animals, for the dogs, and it was a great turnout. And Josh, I believe you were racing. You were mixing it up with the boys.
I was out there mixing it up, and I actually ended up in a heat with Carson Hocevar, and I took the advice of Mamba. He told me, don't lift. So I didn't lift, and then I slammed into the wall, didn't tighten my helmet. My helmet flew off. No concussion, guys. We're good. I'm good to go. But, yeah, I took Mama's advice, and it didn't work out for me.
That's research for the job right there.
You know what's great there, Josh? You were the talk of the town last night. Did you see that guy's head come off?
We don't have any video of it, or we would be showing it.
What a fun
I'm
night.
glad you don't have any video of it. Thank you.
Great cause, though. Great
yes,
cause.
It was for Pause and Think. That's in Indianapolis, and they train dogs for people who need a dog for, you know, any kind of comfort relations, and really cool to see them doing that. Zachary Tinkle, one of the drivers in the ARCA series, he's from Speedway, Indiana. He was heading up that effort. So way to go, guys. Well, we hope you're enjoying what you're seeing. Jamie Little here with Phil Parsons, Michael Waltrip. Love having you here in the booth with us, Mikey.
Another match between the Smith boys up on the front row. 15 and 18 are going to mix it up. I talked earlier, Phil, I'm really interested in these tires. They got 2 tires. Did they adjust the right side airs enough? Did they take into consideration the lefts are going to be pumped up? This is a really critical part of the race. See what we're going to have here.
Right now, Chandler Smith knows this is probably his best opportunity while these right side tires are fresh on this restart to try to get that lead.
Sammy Smith has been so tough to beat on these short tracks. It's been all about him. Led all 80 laps so far. Can he hang on, or is it going to be Chandler Smith on the inside?
He's got a big crash just before the start-finish line. Caution is out.
Caution is out for the 4th time. You saw that smoke in the back of your screen. Amber Balkin right there had some contact.
See the right side damage on the right front as well as the right rear of Amber's car. There's Mandy Chick, the 74, also some damage.
She got into someone in the front of her, and then in return, someone hit her from behind.
Quite possibly somebody missed a gear, maybe on this initial restart.
Phil, you know, it's so hard to see through the cars. If someone has a problem, you're a couple rows back, you don't know what's going on until it's too late.
Yeah, the first car has an opportunity to see it. But after that, it's so difficult.
Let's see what happened here between the 30 car. You see it there, and the 74 of Mandy Chick.
The 7 has an issue right there.
Yeah, Collins didn't get going. Mandy was rolling. Nothing she could do. That just happened so quickly, and then Amber was just a victim of it. You can see just ahead of Mandy.
Yeah, Colton Collins just doesn't go. Mandy gets in the back of him. Amber gets in the back of her. Unfortunate situation for those drivers.
Accordion effect, and Amber Balkan running full time, and she had a great string of races going, but the last month and a half, Bill, it has just been difficult. As you see, the work continues on the 30, trying to fix it up, see if they can continue. This is the Reese's 200 in Indianapolis. ARCA Racing on FS1 is brought to you by Reese's. Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. Reese's, not sorry. And by Sprecher, Fire Brewed Craft Soda, the official craft soda of ARCA. And we welcome you back to the Reese's 200. We're under caution for the 4th time. But the Reese's Sweet Move of the race, I think we've had a couple good nominees already. But you at home can vote starting at 9 a.m. Eastern tomorrow. Go to the ARCA Twitter page. It's at ARCA_racing. And vote on who you think is the Reese's Sweet Move of the race.
You know, I'm a Reese's guy. That's my go-to. I love Reese's.
I'm with you.
I do too.
What about the 95?
Doing a nice job, obviously. Dylan Fetcho, this is his first ever ARCA Menards start and really stayed on the lead lap this entire race. Again, just outside the top 10.
Yeah, early on, though, he was actually a lap down. He was the free pass, and he had a nice save. Look at this.
Yeah.
Whoa, is that a Reese's Sweet Move?
Right.
I think I see it.
Right in front of Tony Breitinger.
Doesn't look huge there, but you guys as drivers always say, you have no idea how big that feels.
Sometimes you don't even see it from the outside, and it was a big move. That one was pretty obvious.
Yeah, Dylan Fetcho doing a really nice job here, the 21-year-old from Lebanon, Tennessee. All right, here we go again. Sammy Smith and Chandler Smith's show. Let's see if Sammy can hold him off once again. A nice jump for the 15, though, Chandler.
He's got it. He did it that time. Sammy's not going to be happy about giving that lead up.
That's just an aggressive move by Chandler Smith to dive in there, drove maybe past the limits of his tires, but made it work, was able to slide up in front of Sammy.
Chandler was tired of being held on the bottom. He finally got that outside groove.
Now we'll see how these two cars stack up here. Another good side-by-side battle. Jesse Love, the 20, Daniel Dye. Nick Sanchez going to try to get to the outside of Daniel Dye.
And he's going to get there.
Battle for 4th.
Tom Hessert, the 55, right there. Tom with 6 races here at this racetrack, has never finished outside the top 10.
He's got his work cut out for him trying to gain these positions because I think that 55 car's got a little speed to it. Been working on the back of Sanchez in the 2 as Raja looks on from behind.
Tom Hessert in the 55, been in the series part-time, obviously, since 2007, but 6 wins to his credit. And what a stat. You just said, always top 10.
Mamba able to get by Greg Van Alst. That moves Mamba up in the top 10.
There goes Fetcho. He's around as well.
Let's go back to the pass for the lead. The first lead we have seen is on board the Sioux Chief, on board of the 18. Sammy Smith, as he sees Chandler Smith go to the point.
That's so frustrating. Have control of the race, led all the laps, and then have it taken away on a restart. Just a racer, Chandler Smith. He runs a truck series. He has a lot of experience racing side by side in tight quarters on these short track races, and he got it done on that restart.
And Sammy knows how hard that lead is going to be to get back from a car that's certainly equal in speed, if not a little bit quicker.
A few cars involved in that last caution. One of them, Amber Balkan, she's standing by Josh.
Yeah, and Amber, from your perspective, what just happened there?
They just piled up in front of me and all brake checked, and there's nowhere I could go.
It's been a tough stretch for you. How do you bounce back and get back on the right side of things?
Just got to keep positive and working, preparation.
Thanks, and glad you're okay.
Well, guys, she saw it, Jamie, just like we saw it. I mean, there was nothing she could do. The car in front of her, Collins, he had something go wrong, and it just put her in a bad spot. And it's, Phil, you know this, how frustrating it is when you get on a run, just nothing goes right. And that's a perfect example how it continues. It wasn't anything she could do.
She had a string of 3 straight top 10s going, middle of the season. Now she's finished 11th or worse the last 5 straight. Great battle here. It's still the 43 cannot get around the 20. Daniel Dye trying every way he can. It's just hard on that bottom line.
So close.
Same situation to his running fifth. Wants to grab that 4th spot. Knows we're going to have a caution at 125, if not before. Would love to be on the outside for a restart. I think probably Daniel Dye says, I can do something with these guys if you give me the outside and give me a couple spots.
Yeah, because that's just a way faster 43 car than the 20 of Love right now. He's able to make that move off the corner. I just really want to sweep him up high, Phil, like I said earlier. Give me a little bit more up there by the wall.
I mean, just a nudge. Just a nudge, maybe. Just a nudge of the 20 or whatever. You can see the 20 drives in the middle of the racetrack. If Daniel can get up there close enough to him, as we see a good battle here. Connor Mosak trying to make his way around Rajah Caruth. Remember, Connor was black flagged earlier for getting out of line on a restart. Got his lap back on a free pass, and now he is battling with Rajah for the 8th spot. Pretty good car for Connor Mosak.
Yeah, Connor's making that bottom work really well. You saw him all the way down into the yellow line off 4. And look, gaining a little bit of ground there. Can he complete the pass? We saw how hard, we've seen all night, how hard that is to do.
Yeah, 5 starts this year in the ARCA series for Connor Mosak. Top 10s in all 5.
Look at the points. It's been such a big storyline. But look at this. Rajah Caruth, as they run right now, still holds the point lead, but not by much.
Yeah, unbelievable. Now they're 6 points apart here as we run. Came into the race 9 points. First time in over a decade that the top 3 have been this close.
And Rajah just saying, I need that 1 spot. I need that spot. That's why he's racing so hard as we race past halfway here in Indianapolis, Indiana.
Michael, the 6-car Rajah Caruth, he's just been so incredible to watch. Just a few years ago, he was a race fan, just trying to get in the business, and now here he is running full-time, and he's been the point leader and done a nice job. Quick learner. We have 100 laps to go here at Indianapolis. Stay with us. Welcome back to Indianapolis Raceway Park, where we are under caution for the 5th time this evening. 2 cars involved. You see the 42 there of Christian Rose and the 25 of Tony Breidinger. Both appear to be okay. Tony tried to drive away, but substantial damage there. Let's see what happened.
Watch top of your screen. They're going to come in here. It looks like Tony's trying to go under Dylan Feccio. Just gets loose there in the middle of the racetrack. And then Christian Rose came along. He actually hit the outside wall first and then made significant contact with Tony's. See, that's Tony in the wall. You see Greg Van Alst does a really nice job avoiding that.
Look up top when right there maybe gets on the brakes a little bit too hard.
Yeah, he was going to run into the back, I think, of the 35 of Greg Van Alst, and then absolutely could not see Tony Breidinger when he came off the wall and made significant contact with the left rear corner of her car.
And the red flag is out with a lot of cleanup, a lot of debris off the 25 after that contact. And that was the battle for 11th between Tony Breidinger and Christian Rose.
Yeah, Tony was on the inside and just got loose as they entered turn 1. And Christian just locked up the brakes and got in the wall to avoid hitting Van Alst, as you said, Phil.
A lot of fluid on the track as you see that cleanup continuing. So we're under red for the first time this evening with 98 laps to go. It's been an all-Smith show. Chandler Smith up front, Sammy Smith in second. Welcome back to Indianapolis Raceway Park. A lot of racing action coming your way, as well as on Sunday. Join Adam Alexander, Larry McReynolds, and Jamie McMurray at noon Eastern on FS1 for NASCAR Race Day. The big story, of course, this week has been all about the disqualifications handed down to Joe Gibbs Racing. We will have an exclusive interview with Denny Hamlin where he discusses the impact of those DQs. And a big story indeed. Great crowd. It's been a fun race. We're under a red flag right now for the cleanup. And our Sprecher lap leaders, it's been all about the 18, the majority of the way, leading 88 laps so far tonight. And Chandler Smith, he's now led 14 laps.
You needed to have Smith as the last name to lead this race.
Yes, you did.
But did Smith learn from Smith about restarting? We saw Chandler aggressively make that move on Sammy. Can Sammy now go to school and learn what Chandler did and put it back to him?
Well, let's find out. Let's hear from the crew chief of the 18, Josh.
Yeah, here with Mark McFarland, crew chief of the 18 team. What more do you guys need to get back to Chandler and get past him?
Right now, he's a little bit too loose, so we need an adjustment here to make him right. He's been doing a great job. First time here. This team's worked hard. This is our part of the season right now, so we need a good finish. If we can't win, we need to finish second, but we really want to win. Chandler, he's tough to beat here, so I feel like we can do it. We just need to make the right adjustment, get him tightened up a little bit.
Thanks for your time, and good luck the rest of the way.
He's just chill. Mark McFarland is just as chill as they come.
As a race car driver, that's what you need on the radio, too, isn't it, Phil? Because you're all up on the chip. You got that calm voice coming to you. Certainly helps.
Well, you can imagine after the season so far that Sammy has had a lot of expectations to take home the W. Why? Because he already has 2 wins on the short tracks this season.
Yeah, that's Berlin. That's the 43 of Daniel Lott, who had dominated the race, had some issues. And then you see a big win for Sammy Smith there at Berlin. Then he comes back-to-back here. Good battle here. He's going to get this lead back in traffic.
How about those racetracks? Berlin, Elko, such
Watch that pass to get by in traffic to grab that win, just like earlier tonight, too.
You see it all in the ARCA Menards series, and man, I love these little racetracks. They get to go short track battling on. Makes me want to be a race car driver again, Phil.
He's also won 3 times in the East Series this year, too. So 5 wins already this year for Sammy Smith. You want to be a race car driver again when you grow up?
Yeah. I think I'm going to have another career later in life.
Are you?
There's a lot of people out there who like to see that.
How much later? I mean, are you going to wait?
Hey, you're older than me.
Sammy Smith, a hot shoe indeed, with one of the best teams out there. I mean, this is the same team that Ty Gibbs ran with last year, won 10 times, won the championship. So a lot going in their direction, except for that 15 trying to stop them right now.
Except for that restart.
That's right.
It'll be interesting to see on this restart how these two go about this battle. Does Chandler take the bottom? There's Carson Hocevar up there hanging out with the fans.
So now he has a cane. That's a young flagman, yes. So he's been waving the flag when it's time to go. I think he had a yellow flag earlier.
Look at his form. That's impressive.
It's all on the wrist. All on the wrist, right?
That's right.
Carson Hocevar, what a great guy.
No doubt. I'm so happy we get to have him in the truck series, and you can see there, 8 o'clock race day is going to get us set up, Phil, and we're going to go truck racing at 9 o'clock. That's a great Friday night.
And he's going to be one of the guys we're going to be watching. Obviously, one of our 10 playoff contenders. Always been fast. We've said all year he's going to get that first win here soon, and it could come tonight.
Well, we talked about Christian Rose throwing out the first pitch of the Red Games on Monday. He was having a good run until he wasn't. He's standing by with Josh.
Yeah, and Christian Rose checked and released from the care center. What happened from your perspective there?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we were struggling all race. We had just gotten way too tight and, just couldn't figure out the balance on my side on how to handle this place. And I just drove off in the corner, and next thing I knew, the 25s around, and we really had nowhere to go. So hit the wall and then hit her. It's unfortunate, but, yeah, I guess she just lost it right there, and then we had nowhere to go. So it's unfortunate. It's been our season, but I got to thank Bruce Cook and all the guys who helped me come out here and do this, and West Virginia Tourism, and we're trying to bring more and more people to the state, and our tourism numbers are the highest we've ever been, so thank them for being on board. But man, oh man, we need to catch a break this year. It's been that kind of year.
Thanks, Christian, and glad you're okay. Guys, we're going to check in now with the other driver involved in that crash, and that was Tony Breidinger. She's checked and released from the care center as well. Tony, from your perspective, what happened?
I honestly drove it in a little too deep, got into the left rear of whoever was in front of me. So it was a little bit of a mistake on my part, and then caught the wall, and then kind of got ran over after that. I mean, everyone's just kind of coming at speed at that point, but hopefully we can go back out. I want to try to save us a little bit in the championship points. So yeah, hopefully we're good to go to at least run on the track.
Thanks, Tony, and glad you're okay.
Thank you.
Man, that's a big hit. I'd be surprised if they can get that car back in the race. But when you make a mistake like that, that's you own up to it. That's a mature.
Yeah, that's all part of it. We've all done it.
Yeah, everybody's gonna, especially on entry to this tight little corners we talk about here at IRP. So a mistake on entry, she lived it, she owned it, and she'll learn from it and be better because of it.
You can see the ARCA officials are monitoring this repair. Obviously, they want to make sure this car is safe if it goes back on the racetrack.
Well, she mentioned the points. It is a big deal. She's sitting 4th right now in those point standings, running full time. They want to get out there and just salvage any points that she can.
1 to go. Great crowd on hand. There's our young man giving the signal.
Carson Hocevar, I think, is coaching him on what flag to bring out and when.
How about that cane he has that'll break in two there? Look at that. We saw him not long ago on 2 crutches, so it's great to see him down to a cane.
Broken ankle and all, and he just has not quit. It's been so impressive. He gets out of his truck, he's on, crutches, and now he's still in a cane, and he's in the playoffs.
He didn't miss a week, Jamie. He didn't miss a week when he broke his ankle.
Heck, he sat on the pole.
At a road course.
At a road course with a broken ankle and was out of the car on crutches.
So impressive. All right. Chandler Smith, Sammy Smith on the inside. Battle of the Smiths. Let's see what they can do now with this restart.
Chandler takes the outside.
Jesse Love in the 20, a little bit better jump on that restart.
Can Sammy squeeze up? He does.
That outside just prevails on this restart, other than the one that Chandler got the lead on.
Look at outside. Daniel Dye's going to try to squeeze outside of Taylor Gray.
I like that. Just follow that 20 through there. Stay up there in the groove.
These guys have had a heck of a battle all race long. I feel like these three cannot shake each other.
Look how close they are.
What a great view from this onboard of Daniel Dye. A little bit of contact. Can he get him by? Can he get them both?
Oh, man. 3 wide.
Taylor Gray side by side. They slide up, and it's Daniel Dye in the 43 to the inside, trying to make it stick, and he slides. How did he just save that?
Wow, and how did Taylor Gray save it as well? Taylor drives away with that 3rd spot.
Daniel, you saw the front tires turn to the right because he was in there on the very flat part of the racetrack on the bottom of 3 wide. Just not enough grip there as he's going to try to get back by Rajah Caruth right now. He's back now to about the 7th spot.
What about that save? Is that a Hershey's sweet move?
I think it's the early leader for sure.
Let's take a look at it. See what you think at home. You can vote tomorrow on Twitter. 3 wide to the bottom goes Dye.
And it's flat down there, Michael, really flat.
Up he goes, bumper cars, and they all escape. They all prevail.
Unbelievable. Some outstanding driving.
If you liked it, go to the ARCA Menards Twitter page. The Reese's sweet move of the race. It's up to you to vote.
I'd vote for it right now if I was able to.
Battle for 3rd position, and you can see it all went wrong for Daniel Dye, but they all kept him heading in the right direction.
Yeah, incredible. We have to wait till tomorrow morning, Jamie, to vote?
Yes.
Is that right?
9 a.m. tomorrow morning.
All right.
I give him an A for effort, though. He's tired of hanging out back there in 5th.
Look at that. Wow.
Taylor Gray was the big benefactor in that contact. As we look at one more view of this from Love's on board, he gets that bump. Right back in the gas.
General Tire on board. Look at that. I love how it pans and how you can see all the action, exactly what the driver is seeing and feeling around him. There's contact right there.
It wasn't over yet.
We didn't see that part of it before. But Connor Mosak going after Tom Hessert. That's a battle for the 6th spot.
Connor Mosak was a lap down earlier. No give up in him. This is a road racing ace. He's still adjusting and learning these oval tracks.
But Daniel Dye now, he's fought his way back to the 8th spot. He knows, he wants to get back up there into the top 5 before this break, coming in about 10 laps.
He's got a lot of speed in that 43 car. We see him closing in on everybody he's behind, but he's struggling to make the moves, make the passes.
Michael, I'm like you. I still think there's some grip a little bit wider than some of these guys are going. See Daniel Dye now, that's about as high as we see people going, but I think there's grip if you put those right side tires up another 4 or 5 feet.
It's just such an opportunity up there that I would go explore, see what I could feel. Mamba's battling with Raja there inside of the top 10.
How can that be? The first ever start in the ARCA series for Mamba, and he's battling right now with our point leader. Doing a great job.
This is what I've been telling you guys all these years.
I can do it. I can do it.
I mean, you look at the resume of this guy. He wanted to be a race car driver after his go-karting career, but then he got hired as a mechanic with Rev Racing, went on to work for Stewart Haas Racing, and now he got enough people around him to financially secure this one ride. And I hope people are taking a look at this. I mean, he's the total package. Great personality, loves the sport, the passion. He's got AJ Allmendinger helping support this ride.
Yeah, thank you to Tyler Young to recognizing that and to put Mamba in this car.
And this is confirmation. I can do the job. I just need more chances, more reps.
Mamba Smith right there in the 0-2 in 10th. Raja Karuk just ahead of him in the 6th.
Every time our Sprecher lap leader board comes up, I think the caution's out. Nice job, Sprecher. You make me notice you every time you come up there.
Things remain the same up front with Chandler Smith leading Sammy Smith.
Last time by, Sammy was faster by about 1/10 of a second than our leader as they begin to work this lap traffic. Talked earlier about momentum and how important it is. You catch a lap car at the wrong part of this track, it can cost you half a second.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt. Remember, about 5 more laps, we're going to get another competition caution. These teams will be able to put 4 tires on, make adjustments. Daniel Dye's been able to get by the 23 at Mosack, going after Tom Hessert in the 55.
Look at that, using the bumper off turn 2. I like it.
Every spot matters, especially if you're Daniel Dye, who's running full time. He's 3rd in points right now, just 8 points out of the lead.
Glad he decided to lift off the gas there. That wasn't going in a good direction.
Discretion, the better part of valor there, right?
Get that momentum back on the top and drive away from Mosack. Continue to try to grab that spot away from Tom Hessert up ahead.
Connor Mosack, that 23 ride, he's part-time there. And next week, Brett Holmes Racing owns it. Brett's going to jump back in at Michigan.
Just a couple more laps of racing before we'll go yellow. Get us 4 fresh tires this time.
They'll have 5 minutes to make any adjustments that they want on these cars. They'll put those 4 tires on. They'll fuel it separately.
Remember, Chandler Smith won the last 2 times we were here in 2019, 2020, trying to make a 3-peat.
It's got to be so exciting for Chandler Smith, who is going to get his first chance at racing a truck here in a place that he loves so much. And of course, that's coming up. He'll jump out of this car and he'll jump into his truck right away.
Look at the smoke from the right front.
What's going on there?
Some sort of an issue with the right front. It looked a little weird when it was coming down the front straightaway.
Could that be a right front hub issue, Phil, or
I don't know,
perhaps a brake problem as well?
Maybe pushing some brake fluid out or something. That could be the smoke. Without a doubt, it was definitely smoking. Let's see if it does here.
And there it is. That's our competition caution. 2nd time today.
I didn't really see it that time, did you?
I don't know what the deal was.
I think that team's breathing a sigh of relief right now. All right, we'll step aside. When we come back, we will have pit stops. Their last opportunity, perhaps, to dial the cars in. And welcome back to Indianapolis. Jamie Little joined by Phil Parsons and Michael Waltrip. This is the Reese's 200. Pits are officially open. Teams now have 5 minutes to make those adjustments and work on them, Josh.
And let's start with the 17 of Taylor Gray. He said he needs to roll the center a little bit faster. He needs more lateral grip as they begin to work on that car to try and help him out. He's been trying to battle to get up with the 1st and 2nd cars in this race. Moving on to the 18 of Chandler Smith. He's been pretty happy with his car, or Sammy Smith, that is the 18. He says he's too free right now. He's a little bit loose on entry, loose on exit, so they're going to make a move to try and tighten him up as he tries to catch back up to Chandler Smith, who has been running away with it right now. He's said the car has been really solid. Once he was able to get out into free air. He felt like he was really strong. They're going to make a track bar adjustment just a little bit to help him on exit, guys.
So some good adjustments happening there. We'll see if it pays off as the sun is still up. It's about 80 degrees, still hot and slick. Now, we've talked about the Reese's sweet moves of the race. We've had a couple of good ones. Now, this was earlier in the race. Our leader, Sammy Smith in the 18, look at this. Threading the needle with those lapped down cars, and he does it without a scratch. I don't know, guys. Do you think that's one of our Reese's sweet move of the race nominees? Guys, are you making your own sweet move of the race right now? Look at these Reese's peanut butter cups. Are you serious? I get these little guys.
Thank you, Reese's.
Thank you, Reese's. Now that's
made fresh Monday morning.
Monday morning. Oh, they smell so good.
They are good.
Yeah. All
I
right,
love my
you
job.
You guys just continue. Pit stops continue. We continue eating Reese's peanut butter cups. Well, you know, we've told this story about Mamba Smith and how great he's running, but how he got here, the story of how he got here, and we mentioned A.J. Allmendinger. A.J. is actually here. He's come over from the big track, and he's standing by with Josh.
Yeah, A.J.'s been standing up, watching, cheering on his guy Mamba Smith this whole race. What have you seen from him out there so far?
I think he's doing an amazing job. You know, I mean, he doesn't drive race cars that much anymore. He's definitely not been in an ARCA car that is this heavy. And he's just learning every lap. So I'm so proud of Mamba. I'm happy to be a small part of it. And, you know, a guy like that, his infectious attitude, the way he treats people, the love that he has for NASCAR racing, I'm just so happy that I could be a small part of helping him out. And he's doing an amazing job. Look for him this last run here because each lap he's getting better. And he's got a pretty good spotter, Coleman Presley. That used to be my old spotter, too. So everybody at Young's Motorsports is doing a great job. And I'm just so happy I could be here and support him.
And let me know about how this deal came together. I wish I was there for that night because it looked like a good one.
You know, to everybody out there that, you know, especially the kids, maybe, you know, when you start drinking, you start making deals like that there. You write stuff out on a napkin, and next thing you know that it's tweeted out, and it's a contract. So now I've known Mamba for so long, and I said to him, I said, what do we need to do to get you racing? He said, well, actually, I'm working on an ARCA deal for Indy. I need 8,000. I said, deal done. Let's do this. So just a great friend, and I love being a small part of this.
Thanks, and congratulations on winning the pole, by the way.
Thank you so much, man.
Guys.
A.J. Allmendinger, a man of his word. How cool is that? Just one of those agreements on a napkin, and look, here he is. He's on the pit box rooting him on as Mamba Smith keeps it in the top 10.
We can talk now if you need us, Jamie.
Okay, you guys got your napkin? You done with your Reese's peanut butter cups?
We're good.
I needed some help over here.
How big was Indy for A.J. Allmendinger a year ago?
Hey, is that Daniel Hemrick to the left?
All the
like
Cup
him.
guys.
It is. That is Daniel Hemrick. One of A.J.'s teammates at College Racing.
A little bit of work to do over at the big track today, and then they hopped in the car for that quick little 10, 12-minute drive over to IRP. There she is, Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
Congratulations to Daniel and Kinsey. They just announced this week that they're expecting a little boy.
Yes, congratulations to them. So proud. This is my hometown, my home racetrack now. She looks beautiful this time of year.
Just a wonderful time of year to be at Indianapolis Raceway Park. In August, we talked about the win I had many years ago. That was just the time of year when you headed to Indy to do NASCAR, and certainly still a major short track race in America.
How about that aerial shot? It showed downtown, showed Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and exactly where we are here. Taylor Gray, haven't talked a whole lot about him. He's been back there in third all race long, but what a season it has been for this young 17-year-old.
Yeah, 3 wins already. This year started off early. Obviously not old enough to run Daytona, but he goes to Phoenix. He's able to run Phoenix. Does a great job there. Racing with Sammy Smith.
Look at that, off the racetrack.
Amazing job on the restart, and he's able to hold off for win number 1 here in 2022. And then he goes and races in the rain as a 17-year-old at Mid-Ohio.
Excuse me.
Little bump with Chris Wright there on the last corner, coming down for the white flag, and goes to victory lane for a second time, and then goes to the 2.5-mile track at Pocono. Had a little bit of an issue, got lost a lap on a competition caution. was able to get that lap back. Great pit strategy by his crew chief, and he goes to victory lane again. 3 wins.
Chad
Great work.
Johnston, his crew chief. He's not bad himself.
No, not too bad.
Yeah, I used to crew chief for me at Michael Waltrip Racing and talked to Chad today, and he said, we think we got a pretty good car. Oh, and by the way, and a really good truck too. So that's pretty special having that type of speed and going into a race like this tonight.
Big night for them for sure. A lot to take in with 2 races. And Tony Breidinger, she said she wanted to get back out. Look at this.
Well, you can see how far that rear clip is bent down. That car will go to the frame shop as soon as this race is over. But the Venturini guys did a nice job getting that thing patched together. Got a deck lid on it, so she's got some sort of a spoiler. But I wouldn't count on a whole bunch of rear downforce.
Not much of a spoiler, just enough to satisfy the officials to say that it'll be safe. So she'll have a struggle having any speed in this car, obviously.
But again, she just wants to maintain, try to get those points. Every point counts. Right now shown 4th in the overall standings.
When you have a sponsor like Hair Club, anything you can do to get your sponsor not only those points, but you got to have those folks that pay the bills, and getting that car back on the track was important to that team.
Yeah, no doubt. Remember, tonight coming up after our race, it's race day and the trucks race at 9 p.m. And you two gentlemen pulling double duty too.
Absolutely. Can't wait.
What an entertaining season it's been for these guys. Matt Crafton snuck his way into the playoffs, never missed the playoffs. See if he can rally late in this season with some speed and make his way to Phoenix with a chance to win the championship.
All right, 71 laps to go. Chandler Smith, Sammy Smith on the inside.
Sammy got a good jump.
Great jump.
He saw what Chandler did to him, wants to return the favor, but it's not going to work off too.
Looked like Chandler maybe spun the tires just a little bit, but he's fighting back now. Drives it hard down into turn 3.
Chandler Smith to the lead once again. Sammy Smith in second, but he's not giving up just yet.
Wow, he's hanging down there. Look at there. Side by side, first 4 spots.
Little contact with the 17, Taylor Gray, and the 20 of Jesse Love.
I was wondering if the 20 of Jesse Love would return the favor with a little bit of contact. Looked like he thought about it for a moment, but then turned him loose.
Nick Sanchez in that 5th spot, watching closely as those first 4 cars were side by side.
Daniel Dye has just been working his tail off all race long. He had that slip slide earlier, went up the track and lost a handful of spots, and trying to make up for those now.
Got a couple of them back, but not all the way back. Still being shown outside the top 5.
These two, they can't shake each other either. Tom Hessert, the 55, part-time driver. It can't be easy to just jump in a car and run with these young kids who are running every week.
And he hadn't raced any in 4 years, and only a couple of races prior to that. 2018 was the last time he raced before running a couple short track races this year, the races at Berlin and Elko. But really doing an incredible job. Good race car driver.
You know, if I'm the crew chief too, I'm reminding my young racers, we got to go another 66 laps on these tires. You don't want to make them mad. We see if you slip and slide how they go away. And in fact, earlier in the race, while it looked like Chandler Smith was the fastest, his tires fell off more than Sammy Smith's did. So keep that in mind and see if Sammy can save enough tire to go after Chandler later.
We saw a shot of Raja Karuth in the 6 car just behind that battle with Mosak. He's in 9th.
Hasn't shown a lot of speed here in this race.
And he was one that said, this team, he told me that they just struggled on the short tracks, but they looked at some things, came here with a little bit different setup, hoping that that would help their short track program, and they haven't had a whole lot of speed. Nick Sanchez a little bit better, his teammate running 5th, and if it ends right now, Nick Sanchez would be the point leader by 1 over his teammate.
What a championship battle you guys have here in ARCA.
It's going to stay this way all year long, too.
That 6 car just looks a little loose. Every time I look up, it seems like that right rear is hanging out.
I feel like he's loose more often than not, Phil. That 6 just hanging it out.
Yeah, he's not afraid to drive it loose, but sometimes, good.
Mamba goes around Van Ost.
Yeah, that's a battle for the top 10. Put Mamba back up in the top 10.
Mamba had slid back just a little bit. Greg Van Alst on board here with a nice view of that yellow bumper for Mamba.
I'd love to see the smile on his face. He just has to be, he wants this so bad, wanted this opportunity for so long, and peace with AJ, helping make it happen, and the hard work that Mamba's done for this opportunity, driving that 02 car.
He's got a lot of talent up on the pit box with AJ and Hemrick up there, right?
Mamba trying to catch Raja Karuth in the 6th. And Michael, I'm just from an outsider looking in at what Raja's been able to do. What do you think of this young man?
Well, I just had the good fortune of getting to hang with him in St. Louis before his Truck Series debut, where he finished 11th. Just did an amazing job. And Phil, he told me, he said, these trucks are a lot different than anything I've ever done before. In fact, I want to make sure I don't make any mistakes when I get in this truck. You know, the trucks, the bodies are different, and so you scrub the wall, it's going to mess up your whole night. He understood what the challenges were, faced them, and got an 11th place finish. Great job in that first race, and a great job all year in ARCA. This is a talented young racer.
Certainly is, with so little experience really coming into this full season here in the ARCA Menards Series.
Raja Karuth, through the first 10 races, his worst finish, 12th at Iowa. He's just been a model of consistency.
And you can tell that, you know, with my chat with him out in St. Louis, he's a student of the game. He knew everything he needed to do in order to have a successful race at St. Louis, and went out and executed.
Chandler Smith now has led 53 laps. Sammy Smith, though he dominated the first part of this race. It's a nice battle. It's calmed down just a little bit now.
Yeah, stretching it out a bit. Fastest lap again last time was the 15 of Chandler Smith as we look at Raja down into turn 1.
You know, Chandler made mention of the clean air. Once he got out in front of Sammy Smith, that clean air, he's able to put that car wherever he wants. Continuing really, really fast lap times.
Making sure, I think if you get a bit of a lead, Phil, I think you need to conserve those tires a bit. Pull out to a lead and maybe back her down. Look at that left rear tire. You can see the air pressure really low. That's part of the game, figuring out exactly what pressures you need to run this long haul, but this is the only tires he has left.
We have to believe we're going to get another caution flag. We've already had 6 caution flags. The last time we raced here, Jamie, we only had 3 in the entire race back in 2020.
It's been eventful. We even had the red flag at one point. Chandler Smith has about a 1.5-second lead over Sammy Smith. That's the biggest gap he's had all race.
If I'm Sammy Smith, I'm watching that 15 and seeing if I'm seeing any sign of that back end hanging out, abusing those tires, and just biding my time till I can make a move on him.
Meanwhile, the battle for 7th, they're racing like it is for the lead and the win in this race. Look at that. Contact.
Whoa!
There's a sideways car. Mosak just trying anything he can to get on the inside of Hessert.
That should make those rear tires mad for at least a little bit, right?
That's some pretty good camera work right there. I love being up top watching these guys slide into the corners. That's when it gets your attention, Phil, when you just know you're about out of grip and that other car is right on your right fender.
So easy for him to have overcorrected and made contact with Tom Hessert and really caused an issue for both of them, but Connor did such a good job staying off that 55 car.
Watch this from above.
Look how close.
And like you said, Phil, never overcorrected. Just use that wheel to the right, to the right, to the right, and straighten it up at the perfect time.
I stand corrected. I thought that first shot looked like they touched.
I don't think they did.
Kept it off. Connor Mosak has finished in the top 10 all 6 races this season. 4 of those were top 5s. 23-year-old out of Charlotte, North Carolina. And Nick Sanchez. He's been running about top 5 almost all race long.
All year long, really.
All year long, yes, absolutely.
Got those new Gainbridge colors on that car. It's beautiful. Running the top 5. See, last time by, just 1/10 off our leader. It seems like nothing, but that's how close things are here in the ARCA Menards Series.
He's had a couple of finishes outside the top 10, but he's had a couple of wins earlier in the season.
It's Talladega. You see him, he's going to take advantage when Daniel Dye cut down on Corey Hine. Caution is going to come out right then and end the race. He was in a great spot there. And then he goes and battles his teammate. Watch this here. You see Rajah Caruth actually had the lead in the 6th car, got hung up behind a couple lap cars. Nick was able to make the pass, and that inevitably was the pass for the win, for his second win, and second time he won at Kansas in a row.
That was a great couple of weeks for that driver right there, Nick Sanchez. He and his teammate Rajah Caruth have been battling neck and neck, and I swear every single week they're usually running and battling for that same position. Today they've been a little bit more separated, but when your teammates like that, you're battling so hard, you want to beat each other so bad. What is that like off track?
It's spirited. You know, you go to those team meetings and sit and listen to everybody, and you're like, I understand all that, but I'm gonna beat that guy. You know, you just want to make sure you maximize. You got the same equipment he's got. You want to make sure you take advantage of it and be the man at your team.
And Jimmy, things are different as we continue to watch this battle for 5th. Back when Michael and I started racing, you weren't that good of friends with all your competitors. You wanted to beat their brains out on the racetrack. You didn't hang out. All these younger drivers seem like they work out together, they hang out, but then they try to beat their brains out on the racetrack too.
You don't need to be friends.
That's right.
Just ask Joey Logano. He's one of those, right?
Oh,
you need to be friends. You need to respect each other.
I like that move there by Mosak. He just said, I'm sorry, it's time to go.
Yeah.
Just
and
a,
very little contact.
Yeah, just
very little contact.
That's short track racing right there. Short track racing. That
really fun battle. Clean battle like that. Nose to nose. So Connor Mosak takes over that 7th spot.
Just ahead of them, Daniel Dice continuing his pursuit of Nick Sanchez.
And we know how much that battle means to him, because obviously 1st and 3rd right now in points. Daniel Dye knows that number 1, he'll get one more point if he can get by this guy, and he will lose a point. So it'll be a 2-point gain if Daniel Dye can make this pass.
Nick Sanchez has that target right on his back. Is he going to give him a nudge? Hey, I'm here.
If you're going to give him a nudge, it's about time. You need some more time to go up and chase those other guys.
43 laps to go, 157 in the books.
This 43 car has just been fast all night.
It is. I would love to see what this car could do in some clean air.
That slip he made.
Oh, what a nice move there. Is he going to be able to hold the throttle down and get there? Boy, not quite.
But, you know, it's kind of like honking the horn. You know, Daniel pulled up and said, I'm here.
That's a honk right there. That was a honk right there.
We're the longest green flag stretch of the race, the 43, as you noted. He got to the inside, but he can't get it to stick on the bottom.
You know, it's just so flat down there, Jamie. He's faster, but can't seem to get enough gas down to get far enough up beside of the 2 of Sanchez to complete the slide job. That's what he would like to do. Dive in even, like we saw Chandler Smith, the move he put on Sammy earlier. That's what Dye's goal is. And you saw him earlier when he got in this position. He got loose, and that cost him 4 or 5 spots. Loose again there. Here he comes, though. Good momentum here.
I think he's got a little bit loose again. Had to pedal the throttle a little bit. You see the 2 of Sanchez scored out in front of him.
So much faster is this 43 car right now.
How long do you play nice, and then when do you decide you need to tap him?
Well, that's a little bit of a tap there.
Did it work?
Okay, I guess that's the answer.
To get him out of the throttle. Looks like he's going to be able to clear him, and he did.
That was a great short track move. Just a little bump into the back. And watch him drive away now. The 43 car leaving the 2.
Daniel Dye finally makes the move on Nick Sanchez for 5th spot. And you look at the points now, a little bit of a point shift.
Yeah, and he's going to say, why didn't I do that 30 laps ago? Because look, he's already put about 6-7 car lengths on him, now trying to chase down Jesse Love.
You want to see how to pull off a perfect short track pass? This is totally acceptable in my book, Phil. He's faster than the 2 of Sanchez. He just says, all right, I'm just going to give you a little nudge. That nudge lost the 2's momentum, and he was able to take advantage, diving way to the bottom and making the move. I will tell you this, though. When you make that bounce into the back, you better be fast enough to drive away. Don't run into me and then hang on my front bumper, because I might have to hit you back.
And I think he was fast enough to drive away.
Is that bump twice as hard when you're giving some payback?
That's right.
Well, Chandler Smith continues to lead here at Indianapolis Raceway Park. 37 laps to go. back to Indianapolis, working lap 172 here for the ARCA Menards series, but there is a lot more action coming up right at the end of our race. It's race day coming up from IRP, and the Truck Series race follows at 9 p.m. Eastern, so we have a few more hours of racing action, but I have a feeling this race has a little bit more action.
Yeah, it's been fun watching Daniel Dye marching up toward the lead as he's going around Jesse Love into turn 3. This is another tight battlefield, but watch the execution.
He stays down there. Jesse didn't want to give him a whole lot of room as Daniel Dye grabs that 4th spot. Was there a little bit of a nudge? I'm not sure there even was a nudge, but he worked his way up underneath him and races side by side down into turn number 3. Watch Jesse kind of pinch him down, trying to get him out of the throttle, get him loose.
But that was just a nice pass. He kind of used Jesse up just a bit, slid up the hill, gave him that angle he needed to exit, and went on with that position.
Well, the changes they must have made at that stop definitely helped. He's been fast all night, but he wasn't able to get anywhere out of that top 5 spot. He gave up a few right before the caution came out when he slid, saved it from going into the wall, and now he's just been on it. Daniel Dye at the 4th.
Yeah, he's about 4 seconds behind Taylor Gray, who has the 3rd spot, so more than likely it'll take a caution flag for him to improve this position. And he looks like Chandler Smith had her hung out there a little bit off the forward.
Look at all that right front camber, and it looks like it's towed out too. I've been watching the 15 car, that right front, it just looks strange. Obviously it's set up properly. He's driving away with this race.
Well, we thought there was an issue before the second competition caution. We saw some smoke from there, but I've seen no evidence of that since. Have you, Michael?
No, look at that right front wheel. You can see it hanging out from the fender there. It just looks strange to me. And you know, we talked earlier, in the long run on our first stage, Sammy Smith was way faster than Chandler at the end of the run. Will that be the case here as we slip inside of 25 to go?
Yeah, these are lead lap cars now that Chandler Smith is going by. That was his teammate, one of his teammates, Tom Hessert in the 55. Now you know this next driver is not going to want to go a lap down.
That's right. Chandler Smith now lapped up to 8th spot, and that's Raja Karuth looking to perhaps go a lap down. Not something we've seen much of this year by the Raja Karuth camp. They've been so good, and that's Raja in the 6th trying to hold off the hard-charging leader, Chandler Smith.
And you watch Sammy Smith come into this battle if he has to waste any time getting around Raja in that 6th.
And Roger will want to do all he can do to stay on this lead lap as they go by Fecho, who's running in the 12th spot in the 95 car.
There's Sammy Smith right there. Just a little over a second behind, but there is that lap traffic up there. Perhaps slowing our leader just a tad.
He's going to get it within a second here with Chandler battling with Raja.
Well, a nice move to turn underneath Raja for Chandler. Now let's see if he can send it down in turn 3. He does.
He did.
Chandler Smith on a tear. He's now lapped up to 7th place.
Sammy's right there. He's still in contact with him.
Closed up that gap just a little bit. The 18 now. Coming up on the 6th of Raja Karuth in 8th.
This is what you race for, Phil. You got to feel like you got a little bit better car. It's late in the going. Not a lot of traffic to go for the 15 to deal with. How fast can Sammy dispose of Fecho and get up there and get on the back bumper of our leader, Chandler Smith?
Yeah, Raja's got to get by Raja, too. He can't waste any time there. He's still over a second behind Chandler Smith. Inside of 20 to go.
Down the top 10, you got Mamba Smith still hanging on to that top 10. He's 1 lap down, but he's hanging on for perhaps his first top 10 in his first career ARCA Menards race. There he is in the 0-2.
They're really impressed with the job this young man has done. First ever ARCA start. Such a good guy, so fun to be around, and man, he's wheeling it.
Like you said, that smile, Michael, underneath that helmet, because he just loves life and he loves racing so much, and the fact that he's getting this opportunity At 30 years old, he spent his whole career in racing, and now he's getting to do what he really wants to, and that's drive.
Well, and he's learning too. You know, not only the fun he's having and the opportunity, he's learning every lap, and he's running very competitive lap times right now on these older tires. This is valuable for this young man.
And this is not an easy place to get around either.
Has A.J. Allmendinger, Daniel Hemrick sitting up on the pit box, watching along.
He may be, if Chandler Smith can hang on and win this race, there may be one guy here a little bit happier than him, and that's going to be Mamba.
10th place will feel like a win, huh?
Absolutely.
Man, we saw Sammy close in on Chandler, and Chandler has just lit it up since then. We got it down under a second, and now Chandler has driven off to about a 2-second margin. As you see just there, Sammy Smith coming off turn 2.
You know, all those truckers that have to race against Chandler are watching right now going, no.
So they're saying maybe he's tired.
Maybe he gets tired.
Yeah. Listening to Sammy Smith's onboard, almost feels like maybe he's got a little bit of a tight. Watch him pedal the throttle up off the corner like it won't really turn, and he's having to pedal the throttle to get it to turn. Not able to match the pace overall that Chandler Smith has been able to have here in this section of the race.
His handling has gone away just a bit. He's almost 2 seconds back to the leader.
It's hard to manage a tight car. Oh, and you said tight, Phil. I wanted someone to go up high. I don't know if I'm in that high or not. And if you're tight, you're just trying to open that corner up, make the radius bigger. Despite the scrub along the wall the lap before that, he put a couple of tenths on Chandler Smith. We'll see what this lap brings after that scrape.
Well, he closed it a little bit.
Yes, even with that, that's, I'm telling you, that goes to show you there is some grip up there.
Yes, and I want to go up there.
You said that, Phil. If you were a spotter, tell your driver, move up a little bit. There's something to be gained up high. Although you flirt with that wall like the 18 did.
I think he's trying to work that upper groove a little bit. And again, as Michael said, he's been faster the last 2 or 3 laps. Might be a little bit too late with only 10 laps to go, though. Still a second half behind.
This is managing time for Chandler Smith. You know, you keep that car pointed straight, only lose a couple of tenths here and there. That's exactly what you're looking for to run these last 10 laps.
The 20-year-old from Talking Rock, Georgia. Incredible wheelman. Toyota saw that in him a few years ago. Kyle Busch Motorsports, that's who he drives for in the Truck Series.
Now he's going to go chase a Truck Championship starting at about 9 o'clock tonight. He's going to get the opportunity to open up the NASCAR playoffs for 2022.
8 laps to go.
Another couple of tenths off that lead.
Once we wrap things up here, it'll be race day. Coming up next, Caitlin Mincy, Larry McReynolds, Todd Bodine will have all the storylines covered. And then the Truck Series will come to you live from IRP at 9 p.m. Eastern tonight. So I hope you're comfy at home. A lot more short track action coming your way.
Yeah, don't go anywhere. Just stay right here.
Seven laps to go here. Chandler Smith just continues to be flawless up front. Sammy Smith about a 1.2-second deficit. Taylor Gray in third. Daniel Dye and Connor Mosack with a great run tonight, rounding out the top 5.
Well, only thing Sammy Smith sees at this point in his window is Chandler Smith. Looking out that windshield at that white car just ahead, that's his target. Can he get there?
And that's Nick Sanchez right in front of Chandler Smith, another guy that does not want to go a lap down. Running in the 7th spot. See Tom Hesser at the 55. Get out of the way. He's already a lap down.
I said the 2 and the 6, those teammates are always usually running together. Well, they are now. They found each other. They're in 7th and 8th now.
Been like that all year, it seems like.
Battling on track, battling in the points. New sponsorship by Gainbridge for this Rev Racing team.
Class move, though, by Nick Sanchez to move out of Chandler Smith's way.
That could have been a real difficult pass for Chandler to make if Nick hadn't just pulled down. I think that move right there around Sanchez could have been the race-winning move for Chandler, because now he has that car between he and Sammy Smith.
Venturini Motorsports, every week they show up with fast race cars, just buttoned up. They have some drivers, Tony Breininger, for example, runs full-time, but the rest are part-time. But when they get to put somebody like Chandler Smith behind the wheel, that's got to be fun to watch.
Without a doubt. I know, talking to Billy Venturini years ago when he first put Chandler in the car, he said it's amazing the speed and the feel that this kid has. And boy, we've seen it now in the Truck Series over the last couple of years, and certainly this year, winning last week, dominating last week at Pocono.
And by the way, going to become a dad here, I believe, in the next month or so. White flag is in the air for Chandler Smith. 1 lap to go. Last 2 trips here for the ARCA Menards series. It was this man right here, Chandler Smith, who upset the field and brought home victory. Full time in the Truck Series. Chandler Smith jumps in. He gets into the wall on the last lap. Can he hold it together? Chandler Smith in the 15 wins it at Indianapolis.
That was fun, wasn't it? Coming to the checkered flag, and he scrubbed the wall.
You think he wanted to see if there's any grip up there for the truck race later on?
Want to see his crew chief stand up and take a big breath.
He entered really high, a little bit higher than we've seen him today, and look.
Jumped the cushion.
What's he doing, driving in his mirror, seeing where second place is?
He was definitely scraping the wall.
There he goes. It all worked out, but that made it a little bit interesting. What are you, if you're Sammy Smith, what are you thinking, Phil? Come on, a little harder, a little harder.
Yeah, stay up there.
Scrape the wall and all, but he brings it home victorious. Chandler Smith, his 10th career ARCA win in 35 starts. Now that is a win percentage that is incredible. See the results on the bottom. Chandler Smith. Well-deserved burnout here. Sammy Smith, he had led 89 laps early, and Chandler Smith worked on him, and once he got the lead in that clean air, led 111 laps.
There's a shot of crew chief Kevin Reed. There's Kevin right there walking around to the driver's side.
Hell yeah, man. Hey, y'all are 2 for 2, you know that? Huh? Y'all are 2 for 2 together. Yeah, that's right.
It's been a couple years in between, but you heard him there. 2 for 2 at IRP. Big night for them. Chandler will have just a few minutes to celebrate before he gets in his truck.
No better way to celebrate than jumping in a fast truck and running 200 more laps.
You'd have to pencil him in as one of the favorites to win this truck race tonight, right?
How about for the championship, Michael?
Man, I talked about momentum coming off that big win at Pocono. His season has been solid week in and week out.
Hey, Jimmy. Hey, Stockman. Take this.
He's calling for his Truck Series crew chief there, Danny Stockman, but he's about to climb out, and our Josh Sims is there with our winner.
Yeah, and Chandler Smith, 3rd ARCA win here at IRP. Once he got up front, he had it on lock. Chandler, how does it feel right now? You made things kind of interesting there at the end.
Heck yeah, hey, this one goes out to my wife. We're getting induced Sunday, so I'll be home tonight.
And Chandler, what was the key for you in this race?
Honestly, just getting track position. Track position was pretty big. You wouldn't think short track racing aero matters, but it really does. After you've done some 1.5 races of trucks, you start coming back and picking up on this a little bit. So can't thank everybody enough at Venturini, TRD, and Charge Me for giving me this opportunity. Time to go run this truck race to get home to mama.
Thanks and good luck in the truck race, Chandler.
Gosh, it's already been a great weekend for him. He has a lot more to look forward to. He's going to be a dad come Sunday. Congratulations to Chandler Smith. Well, we've been talking about the points. Here they are. Rajah Kruth again. After all that, he maintains that points lead. His teammate Nick Sanchez 2 back, and now just 5 separate the top 3. For Phil Parsons, Michael Waltrip, Josh Sims, I'm Jamie Little. Thanks so much for watching. Race Day is coming up next. Caitlin Mincy, take it away.